Well, the time is now 5:07 a.m. here on your Tuesday morning. I guess, the big question this morning is, are we going to see impacts? And it just seems like it's a little bit too early to tell what it's going to look like exactly.
Yeah, but still a good way to prepare and just to make sure in case we do get it, better safe than sorry.
Yes, absolutely. And it's coming closer to central Georgia each and every hour. So you would think that, our confidence goes up in the forecast. But to be quite honest with you, these models, they are all over the place. I'll show you it all right now. Here is a look at Ian as it stands, made landfall about 30 minutes ago here on the Cuban coast as it continues towards the north at about 12 miles an hour. Pressure down to 952. So this time yesterday morning, it had just become a hurricane. Now it is a Category 3 hurricane, borderline Category 4. Hurricane warnings in effect for Cuba for good reason. Tropical storm warnings there. Let's talk about the Florida Peninsula. Alerts up and down the coast. First off, we have a hurricane warning, Tampa down to Fort Myers there along the coast. This red here is a tropical storm warning. This is generally speaking along I-4 into the south. A tropical storm watch once you get down towards West Palm, and then another tropical storm watch once you get towards the north. This includes coastal Glenn County, coastal Camden County here in Georgia now, and then also pulling over across the Gulf Coast. Expect those to continue to expand here in the coming hours. Now the cone, as we look over the next few days, notice it does take a major hurricane with winds of 120 miles an hour, very close to Tampa, if not right over Tampa, before riding the Florida Peninsula there towards the north. So this is an eastward shift from the cone that we had yesterday morning, but still the center could very well come over Macon. I'll show you some models that are showing just that. But as things stand now, it looks like the center, when what would be tropical depression Ian comes through Georgia, looks to pass somewhere between Macon and Savannah. So let's talk about it here in terms of the models. These are recent computer runs. Notice the spread here covering the whole cone. This blue line right here is one run of the GFS. That's trying to keep it still off the coast. The European pulls it into Florida, meanders it around, and then pulls it still back up into central Georgia. Let's talk about rainfall and how this shapes up with the individual models. This is the GFS. Notice the center of the storm down there along the Florida Peninsula. This is Friday at 6 a.m. Rain beginning in our southern counties, expanding through central Georgia through the day on Friday. This is 5 p.m. Still not raining in places like Monroe County and the far northwestern portions of our area. But then the GFS pulling the center of the storm up through central Georgia Saturday morning. This is 7 a.m. and looking at widespread wind and rain across the area. Wind, say somewhere weak tropical storm force strength gusts potentially at times, and then still raining Saturday night. Roll that into Sunday. Still raining on Sunday here in central Georgia. Here's how it shapes up on the European model. It's going to be a bit earlier this Thursday at about 10 p.m. with the rain beginning here in our far southeastern counties. Notice the center of the storm is over Florida there, and then it pulls it towards the north, but maybe offshore again, and then rain expands over the entire area late in the day Friday on into Saturday. There's Saturday at 7 a.m., the center of the storm somewhere over central Georgia, and then pulling away Saturday night with lingering showers still into Sunday. Here's how this stacks up with the ensemble models, and this is just crazy to look at the spread. Say from Pensacola over to the Atlantic coast, the GFS having a hard time getting a fix on the storm, and the European is as well. We play the same thing with the European model. Notice it's in pretty good agreement with the Florida Peninsula there, but then still anywhere from Birmingham to Wilmington is where it has the center ended up going. So what you need to know right now, Ian is a major hurricane crossing into the Gulf of Mexico. Recent model runs are sending the center of the storm over the Florida Peninsula, and rain and wind is still a high possibility here in central Georgia. We're posting a ton on social media, everything I just told you, and updates through the morning. Be sure to follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can just search at AForbesWX.